So let me paint you a picture. I'm laying on the couch watching TV. What am I watching? Embarrassingly, I'm watching Breaking Bad. Why is that embarrassing? Because I've watched it 6 times. Not because I've never seen it before, because I've literally watched the entire show like 6 times. Back to the story. I'm laying on the couch, blah, 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 Breaking Bad. I'm like, hey, I'm hungry. I want something sweet. So I get up, I go look in the pantry, nothing sweet. I look in the fridge, nothing sweet. I didn't look in the freezer, but I know that there's nothing sweet. Back to the pantry, there are chocolate chips. I could just eat chocolate chips, but honestly, that's not really that exciting. But what is exciting is chocolate chip cookies. We're gonna make chocolate chip cookies in like, let's just call it 20 minutes. By the way, it's 11:37 p.m. That's why we don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing this. I just want a midnight snack. We're gonna make it by midnight. Now, a lot of the time when I make chocolate chip cookies, I either want to use like softened butter or I want to use brown butter, which is why shit usually takes longer. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna melt our butter. Are we gonna melt it in a pot? No. We're just gonna throw it in the microwave. I lived a long time without a microwave, but now I have one. So power level. Soften, melt. 8 choices for soften/melt. What are my choices? What else do we need? Egg, sugar, we need sugar. We're also gonna be putting some cornstarch in these cookies, so that's kind of fun, huh? It's already 11:40. Oh, we should preheat the oven. What's my temp? 375, oh boy. While this is doing its stuff and making noise, I moved into a new place. The kitchen is actually way nicer than the last place I lived in. However, it's not really the best space for filming. I literally have this much counter space that I could actually set up my camera, which kind of sucks. So I might be trying to build like a little kitchen studio thing in my living room. I don't know, stay tuned for that. You know, if there's like little globs of butter in there that haven't quite melted yet, just stir it up and then they'll melt. Because you know the rest of the butter is already hot and then it's like, hey, join us in the melted zone. We're using a scale because I always use a scale for multiple reasons. And right now, the biggest reason is I will only have one thing to clean. It just goes straight into the bowl. Sugar. Every time I buy brown sugar, I just like put it into a container. Even though like I buy the brown sugar that comes in the like resealable bag, it just never really works that well. Now we're just gonna mix together our butter and sugar. Crack an egg in this bitch. Egg crack. Oh no. Oh man, why don't you open? Okay, sorry, story time as I try to open up this vanilla extract. Like a month or so ago, I'm trying to make some challah and I'm just like making fun of people that think it's like a big deal to crack eggs with one hand, and I'm just like, should we do the one-handed crack? And I cracked it and I completely obliterated one of the eggs. I didn't really pay that close of attention and left a bunch of shell in the dough and it ruined the dough. Cornstarch. You might be asking yourself, but Aaron, you probably aren't saying my name. Cornstarch in cookies, what's that all about? Well, I'll tell you what it's about. Usually you'll see it in like sugar cookies or something like that. It helps keep things like softer. It's not something I always put in chocolate chip cookies, but sometimes I do. If I were my baking soda, where would I be? I'm pretty sure I'm out of baking soda. That's okay. I was just laughing to myself, like, what if this was actually baking soda the whole time and I kept reading it as baking powder? But it is in fact baking powder. It's not exactly a direct substitute for baking soda. Baking soda is stronger than baking powder, so we're gonna put in 1.5 teaspoons. I'm not gonna measure the salt, I'm just gonna take a big old pinch because I believe that chocolate chip cookies should have a salty taste. I don't know, that's just the way I like it. Tell me how much flour I need. 180 grams, also known as 1.5 cups. I don't always have chocolate chips, but it looks like someone was in the mood. Knife. I'm gonna give it a little mix so that the flour starts to incorporate, and then we're gonna add the chocolate chips before the flour is fully incorporated. So by the time everything's incorporated, we won't be over mixing our dough here. Chocolate chips are my friend. Bada boom, bada bing. We're about to have chocolate chips. chocolate chip cookies. People on the internet get like all worked up over eating raw cookie dough because they talk about the raw egg, when in reality, the thing you should probably be more worried about is eating raw flour. Either way, I will still be eating it. These cookies are 100% gonna be better tomorrow, the cookie dough. In general, I just prefer making cookie dough that's been chilled. I think that they bake better. I'm just gonna bake 4 because I think 4 is gonna look better for the video. All right, so Noah called me. I didn't have baking soda. I spent a bunch of time looking for that. We still got this done in all of about 15 minutes. Usually if I knew where everything was and I didn't have distractions and I wasn't talking to you and doing all that stuff, like you could whip this up in 5 minutes. Maybe tomorrow I'll bake off a couple more so we can compare and contrast. Let's do that. We're gonna let these cool off for a little bit. I just like to do this. I just take them off of the pan and let them rest on the counter. That way the bottom of the cookies doesn't continue to cook on the hot pan. The cookies are like a little tall, which I don't have a problem with. I feel like most of the time when I make these, they kind of like spread out a lot more, especially with that warm butter inside. But I'm gonna chalk that up to the baking powder. If I'm making cookie dough and then storing it and I'm gonna make it again, I usually like to put a lot of butter in my cookies. So when you cool them down, they get very hard, the cookie dough. So I always use, so what I'll do is I'll just scoop out all of my cookie dough into little balls, put them on some parchment paper, put them on a tray, and then either put them in my fridge or my freezer. And then once they harden up and everything, then I can just put them in a bag, like a plastic bag or a container. When I want to bake them, I literally take them out of the fridge, plop them on a tray, pop them in the oven. Bing, bang, boom. I'm gonna just say that these have cooled down enough for me to do this thing, but what do we think of that? Looks pretty good, huh? Smells like a cookie. Looks like a cookie. Hot. Oh, that's hot. It's a good cookie. What can I say? Okay, so time for me to go eat these and watch more Breaking Bad, but we're gonna make more cookies tomorrow in 3, 2, 1. Now we just grab a plastic bag or a container, whatever you want. If you're still watching this video, give it a like, thumbs up, down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment something. Let me know if you like this style of just like me talking about whatever and cooking at the same time, doing more of this kind of cooking without exactly a plan or a recipe, or if you just like me to do a recipe video with a voiceover that's not quite as random. It's a little bit more straightforward. Anyway, if you could comment that would mean a lot. I'd really appreciate the feedback. I'm trying to ramp stuff up now that I'm actually kind of settled into this apartment. Hopefully there's gonna be a lot more content. Cookie, cook. We have that. I put it in an airtight container so it didn't like dry out. Let's see what happens. Hey, that's actually the perfect place to be. We'll do the same thing here. This is today's cookie. Ooh, it's gooey. In the world of cookies, fresh is always better. So anyway, the real point was for me to just like, okay, you made all this cookie dough, pop them in the fridge, throw them in the bag, throw them on the tray, pop them in the oven. Super simple. It was also just an excuse for me to eat more cookies to bake these off today. That's this video. Like, comment, subscribe, do the things, and yeah, definitely want to stay tuned and subscribe because I got a cool idea coming up this week. And yeah, happy cookies.